Hey Argos fans, Dean Franceschi here with you again for the Argos Admirals. Just before we get into a game recap of last night's loss to the Eskimos, just want to take a moment and thank all the fans that came out last night. Just shy of 23,000 in attendance at the Rogers Center, and beyond that, we want to thank all those fans that specifically came down to see us in Section 134B. It was a lot of fun, and I hope we can do that again sometime very soon in the near future. Now, back to the football side of things. The Argos, like I said, 26-17 defeat to the Edmonton Eskimos last night. Corey Boyd returned to the Rogers Center. Was a huge storyline heading in. However, he was fairly ineffective when he was on the field and only recorded 75 yards in total offense. Considering how often he was on the sidelines, that's decent total, and it just showed that the Eskimos really don't see him maybe as a bruising full-time type of back, but yet he gets the victory. He got the last laugh, and he's going home with a 5-3 record with the Edmonton Eskimos after this night. So let's look at the Argonauts now. The Argonauts, Ricky Ray, just a horrible night of offense right there. Just over 250 yards, 251 to be exact. Had one touchdown, 2 interceptions. Chad Cackard had a good night. He was effective when he got the ball. He only had 8 carries, which is something that maybe the Argos want to consider giving him more touches. He seems to be very effective. Took a 3rd down and won all the way for 25 yards to the end zone. He got the Argonauts back in the game at that point. That was in the 3rd quarter. And he finished the game with 8 carries for 58 yards, a touchdown rushing, also amassed 5 catches for 30 yards out of the passing game for Chad Cackard. So he did a good job out there for the Argonauts. However, like I said, Ricky Ray, 3 turnovers on the night, 2 interceptions, and a fumble. He was struggling, to say the least, and the offense was out of sync for much of the ball game. Stephen Giles, a former Argonaut, making his first homecoming back to the Rogers Center last night. He left the game with an injury in the 2nd quarter, forcing Kerry Joseph to come in, another former Argonaut. And Kerry Joseph, he did not put up stellar numbers, but he did a good job managing the game. Threw 2 interceptions. However, Ricky Ray threw in 2 interceptions, so that just canceled everything off. And he ran in a touchdown, Kerry Joseph. Hugh Charles had a good night. Had over I think it was over 60 yards rushing. There you go, 60 yards rushing with a touchdown on the ground and his patented flip into the end zone. So the Argonauts defense struggled to stop the run. They struggled to manage the difference of the quickness and speed of Hugh Charles and the bruising type style of Corey Boyd. And they struggled all night long. All of our units, the special teams, the defense, and the offense, all struggled on this night, and the Argonauts falling 26-17. A few standouts for the Argonauts. Robert McCoon, typical, leading the team in tackles throughout the season, and leading them again on this night. He had 9 tackles for the Argonauts. Just a few notes also. Pacino Horn recording an interception and a tackle, and Ahmad Carroll picking off his first pass of the season. He's got 2 tackles and the interception in the ball game. But J.C. Sherritt was definitely the defensive standout. Personally, my player of the game, although he's on the Eskimos sideline. He's a joy to watch. He had 12 tackles, an interception. He outdid himself compared to the last time these two teams met, where he even recorded 11 tackles and a forced fumble. He outdid himself. It's incredible. What a ball player. The Argonauts struggle. Special teams all night. Swayze Waters, 1 for 2 on field goal attempts. Chad Owens really had a slow night. Didn't do much in the return game, receiving game. He was quiet, was unable to duplicate what he did in week 1, which was the 100, 100, and 100 game, where he had 100 yards receiving, 100 yards on kick returns, and 100 yards on punt return. He made CFL history on that night. Not tonight. However, the Argonauts dropping 26-17, now dropping their season record to 4-4, and putting them into 2nd place in the East Division behind the Montreal Alouettes, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats sit right behind them in 3rd place. They have now a back-to-back coming up with the Ticats. So those are 2 huge games for the Argonauts, and we'll be previewing those for sure coming up this week. As for the Eskimos, 5-3, they move to the top of the division in the West, close right behind the BC Lions. So we got a battle there, a good battle for first place there in the West. And but the main story on this night, the Argonauts losing 26-17, the offense out of sync, defense struggling to stop the run, and the special teams really not having a factor in the ball game. They really struggled out there all together as a cohesive unit, and it was not a good performance for the Argonauts. So we'll see what they can do on Labor Day against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. That's the next game. good week of practice, hopefully, for the Argonauts to adjust and get back to their old selves. And hopefully we get to see a better Argonauts performance next Monday night in Hamilton. I'm Daniele Franceschi signing off for the Argos Admirals. We'll get back to you later on in the week with a preview of this week's upcoming matchup between the Hamilton Tiger Cats and Toronto Argonauts. Thank you very much, Argos fans.